Hey guys, today we're going to be trying some new makeup. There have been release after release after release. It's been pretty hard keeping up, but we're gonna try and squeeze as much of this new stuff onto my face today as we can because I have 3 face palettes here. I ordered the Hourglass Lighting Edit Universe. I ordered the Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked. And then I had to get the NARS High Profile Cheek Palette. So that's what we have in terms of face palettes. And then I also have the Gucci eyeshadow palette here. So I was trying to think of creative ways that I could present all of this new makeup to you because I do also have the Pat McGrath Celestial Odyssey holiday palette here. I ordered this off of the Pat McGrath site as soon as it came out, so it's been sitting here for a while. The delivery was actually, or I should say the shipping was actually pretty decent, but then she kind of slowly released other things from the collection. So I think I'm just gonna do that all together because I ordered the 2 new quads and the new highlight. So I'm waiting for that. Actually, come to think of it, I don't even think I got a shipping confirmation for that. So anyway, that may be a while, but I'm gonna wait to do all of that together. And then I also did get those new Charlotte Tilbury palettes. I hauled those for you guys. I ordered them off of her site as soon as I could. So I got the long one, the one with like the 12 eyeshadows in there. I can't remember the name. And then I got one of her quads. And then she released her other quad, which I also ordered, which hasn't come. So I figured let me wait to get that, and then we can talk about all 3 of those together. So Pat McGrath, Charlotte Tilbury, all of that's coming. So I figured we'd talk about Gucci today because I don't know. I actually don't know if Gucci's coming out with more for the holiday season. Yeah, and I have the new Givenchy Le Rouge Sheer Velvet lipstick that I want to try. I have it in the shade number 10 Beige Nude. And then Trini London sent me this BFF Rebalance Tinted Serum. So I really enjoy the Trini London base product that I have. I can't remember the name. I'll flash it up on the screen right now. But that one I really enjoy. So I'm excited to try this one. They sent over the shade Molly. Hopefully that'll work. And I think that's it. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. I'm gonna start with this BFF Rebalance. I don't have anything on my skin other than my skincare. I ended it with my Revive SPF. So that's what you see on my skin right now. So we're gonna go straight in with this tinted serum. So this is what the package looks like. And it's like her other base products. It's a tube with a pump. So it does have marine prebiotic, avocado extract, niacinamide, and antioxidants. So just FYI. And I don't believe this has any SPF in here. No. And then it's made in Italy, and this is 1 fluid ounce. And we are to massage 2 to 3 pumps into your skin and build to your preferred coverage. Ooh, this color looks good. That's 3 pumps. And I'm just not a finger foundation applier. I'll do it every once in a while, but it's not my preferred method. I've got my Sonia G Jumbo Base brush here, and I like the texture of this. It's very creamy. It's very lotiony. It is a tinted serum, so I thought it was gonna be a lot thinner, but it's actually like a very nice creamy texture. Definitely a light coverage. Oh shoot, I should have applied it just to half of my face. Sorry, I usually do that so that we can compare, but I think you guys can tell this is a very lightweight coverage. And I really like the texture of this. It's so creamy. It really is going on like a lotion. Wow, I really, really like the way my skin looks. My complexion is definitely evened out, but I feel like, you know, the coverage is almost undetectable. This skin-like finish with just a touch of like moisturized radiance is in there. I think that looks really nice and healthy. Ooh, so far I love this. And I pumped out 3 pumps. I think I used about half of that. So if you like a lighter coverage like I do, I would say a pump and a half is really all you need. Wow, Trini London, I really, really like their products. As you guys know, I love all of their potted products, the cheek and the eye products and the lip products. Just really great textures and formulas. Great, great stuff. All right, so that is the Trini London BFF Rebalance Tinted Serum, and I have the shade Molly. I really like this. Awesome. Okay, so Do I need concealer? I think I do. I'm looking pretty tired down there. So I'm just gonna use my Dior Forever Skin Correct Concealer. I don't have any new ones. And I'm using my BK Beauty and Angie A506 brush. Such a good concealer brush. Well, I think it brightened up my under eyes. I still look a little tired though. There's some things that makeup just can't fix. Okay, so concealer is applied. I'm trying to think if I need a powder because this tinted serum actually has set down really nicely. It's not like tacky at all. All right, so maybe I'll forego powder and go straight into these face palettes. I don't even know where to start. Well, let's start by opening them all up and taking a look. Okay, I am most excited for this NARS palette because the products inside are of a baked gelée formula. And this is the High Profile Cheek palette. This packaging is really cool. And here are all the products. They look a little bit deep for my skin tone, but that's okay. I really like these two shades for blushes. This is like fall vibes for me. These three down here look a little, well, this one maybe, but these two look a little bit more spring summery. This highlight looks a little deep. So, okay, we're definitely gonna use these for blush, I believe. And then next we have the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Universe. This has 5 powders in there. And these are that new tin packaging they're using, which I believe is like all recyclable. It does feel a little cheap though. It feels weighty, but kind of, I don't know, sounds cheap. All right, here are the 5 products. So all of the powders in here, except for this Infinity finishing powder, this Infinity powder, are brand new. So this is Vibrant Heat. Next we have bronzer, which is the Glistening Bronze Light. And then we have this blush, which is Luminous Rose. And then we have the Strobe Powder, Supernatural Strobe Light. I vaguely remember this Infinity powder, and I remember not really liking this as a finishing powder, but I think we'll have to try again. You never know. All right, and then the other one is the Ambient Lighting Edit Universe Unlocked. So this, just like the other one, has 5 products in here. There's only 3 products in here that are new. So this Radiant Light, this is one of the popular finishing powders. And then we have number 2, this is Rose Heat, so this is new. Then we have the bronzer, Radiant Bronze Light, which is not new, that's part of the regular line. And then we have the blush in Coral Flush, this is new. God, that looks incredible. And then the strobe powder in Solar Strobe Light. This is new as well. All right, so I think all 3 of these face palettes are made in Italy. So yeah, made in Italy, and made in Italy. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use one of these or both of these shades from the NARS palette as blush. And then for bronzer, I think I'm gonna use the one from here because it's new. So I'm gonna use it from the Universe palette and it is Glistening Bronze Light. I'm gonna try this one. And then I'm going to use the Solar Strobe Light, this shade here, as highlight. Yeah, I think that's what I'm gonna do. That way I can use one from each palette. So I'm going in with my Refer 22 brush. And just adding it to my forehead, temple area, under my cheekbones, under my jawline here. And so that's with the bronzer and without. I haven't always had great luck with Hourglass bronzers. Sometimes they have like too much micro glitter in there, which I don't like. I like a sheen, but I don't like the micro glitter. And then sometimes I feel like it's just the tone. Sometimes the tone just doesn't work for me. I think one of the few first ones that they came out with, I ran out and got, and they were they really warm or kind of yellow? Yeah, they were orangey. One was orangey, I remember, and one had a yellow undertone. Anyway, I haven't had the best luck with Hourglass bronzers. But the tone for this one actually looks quite nice. It is on the warmer side. I think you could probably see it right there. It is on the warmer side and probably something I would gravitate towards more in the spring, summertime, but I don't think it looks like too orange or anything. I'm just gonna use my Sonia G Face 1 brush and just buff that out a little. I think because I don't have powder down on top of that tinted serum from Trinny London, the application of the powder product looks a little patchy. So I'm just kind of blending it out, buffing it out. Yeah, I think that looks a little bit, better. All right, let me apply it to this side. Yeah, I think this is probably the best bronzer experience I've had with Hourglass. It's, you know, warm, but I think it's more of like a peachy warm versus an orange yellow warm. Okay, so that is the new bronzer from the Universal palette. Let's switch over to the NARS cheek palette, and I'm going to apply maybe I'll go for this one. This one is a little bit more cooler toned. This one has a little bit more peach. So I'm going to try this one over here all the way on the right. And because this is Beige, I like to use a denser natural haired brush. So I'm going to use my Refer number 24 brush. This is a pretty densely packed cheek brush. And brush on my cheeks. Ooh, this blush has a really nice like red undertone. It makes me look really like heated. I feel like this would make for a really great like holiday blush, you know, with like a bright red lipstick. So that is a blush. Oh, it has a name. So that is High Demand. That's the name of this shade here, High Demand. Lastly, let's go to the Universe Unlocked palette and try this strobe powder. I don't know if it's gonna be too deep for me, possibly, but let's give it a shot. All right, I've got my Surratt cheek brush. Gonna pick up a little bit of this. Now these strobe powders from Hourglass are really metallic and really wet looking. And like I was just talking about in my like seasonal beauty switch up, I really toned down the highlighter. So anyway, I'm just gonna put on a little bit the high points of my cheeks here. And I'll definitely put on a little bit more than normal so you guys can see what it looks like, but I think you can get a sense of how wet looking it is. Do you see that? Wow. And I think the shade works for me. I think any deeper and it would be too deep, but thankfully it's not too warm. You know, it's not too much of like a yellow gold. It's really a nice like champagne. All right, so that is the strobe powder from Universe Unlocked, this guy right here. I'm trying to think if I can squeeze in any more shades. I really like the looks of these two blushes. Maybe I'll pop a little bit of this onto the apples of my cheeks. Let's see what that looks like. I've got my Refer number 5 brush. This is a lighter, fluffier kind of cheek brush. Since these are not Beige products, they're not that difficult to pick up. So I'm going in with a brush with a little bit of a lighter touch. Wow. Wow. Oh, that's really pretty. Perfect for the holidays. I feel like these Hourglass palettes are great for the holiday season, parties, going out to dinner, and I feel like this NARS palette is a little bit more everyday, a little bit more like fall, winter, everyday. Wow, well that is Coral Flush from the Universe Unlocked palette. Holy smokes, that is bright. All right, I may have entered clown cheek territory, but let's see what happens once I get the rest of my makeup on. I'm gonna throw on the Jones Road brow pencil. I used this before I moved, so it's been a while, and I haven't used it since. So I'm gonna try this again. I have it in the shade Brunette, and it's a chubby pencil, but of course you can sharpen the tip to however sharp you want. So I'm going to use the tip straight on here. And then brush that out. The pencil's pretty soft, so it blends in really nicely. I just wish that chubby pencil had a spoolie at the end. All right, that looks pretty good. That's pretty good. Okay, let's jump to the Gucci eyeshadow palette. I'm very excited for this. This is a palette of 12 different shades. And I mentioned this in my Will I Buy It video, and I was like, yes, ma'am, I am definitely gonna be picking up this palette, if anything, just for the packaging. So this is quite weighty, and it comes in this velvet pouch, which was smushed in the box. And here is the palette. I'm sure you guys have seen this everywhere at this point. And then it's got that fleshy peach color at the bottom. And it clasps shut. So there's no magnet, which is kind of great. I feel like so many things are magnetized now, and when I put it on my vanity, they're just like pushing each other away. Oh, I wonder if this is refillable. Let's see. Oh boy, I'm trying to get the plastic cover off. It's tucked in there. Ooh. Oh wow, so this whole thing pops out. So I wonder if they're going to be selling different like color stories. Oh, interesting. Here it is without it. I don't feel like that clicked in place. I don't know if that's magnetized. Oh, I think it's magnetized. Interesting. That doesn't feel very secure in there though. It's like you just press it down and that's it. Okay. All right, so here are the 12 shades. I'm going to swatch these from left to right, top to bottom. And there are no shade names I don't see anywhere. It looks like there's 3 different finishes. There's mattes, there's satins, which is almost like a demi-satin, and then there's some metallics. So the first shade, the black one, is matte. Next we have a metallic. Next we have another metallic, which has a teensy bit of duochrome in there. The next 4 shades are matte shades. We have another metallic. Ooh, that's pretty. It's like a dirty silver. We've got 2 matte shades. And then we have 2 satin shades, that cranberry and the last shade, which is like a taupe. Well, upon finger swatching, these feel incredibly, incredibly creamy. They feel almost like a cream to powder shadow. These shadows are made in Italy. Okay, great. Oh, and there's a 24-month shelf life once it's opened. So I will say already, this pan has just kind of popped up like twice now without me going for it or anything. So I will say, be careful with this. The other thing I will mention is I like the idea that this is refillable, but there's a lot of case and very little shadow. I wish they kind of utilized more of the space. Not that I ever really pan shadows, but these eyeshadows definitely look smaller to me in person than they do in all of the shots. That could just be me though. Okay, I'm gonna start with this light matte shade down here. It's like a light brown color. And I'm using my BK Beauty Hot and Flashy brush, a 502. And ooh, I like the mirror in here. This is a very nice big oval shaped mirror. I'm going to add this to the outer corner here, sweep it maybe halfway over my lid along my lash line. Okay, there is that first color. I think that worked really nicely, blended out nicely. Pigmentation is nice, not overly pigmented, not underpigmented. Let's see. I'm gonna go into, I'm really tempted by this color here, this last color. You guys know, that's like such a Michelle color. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 501 brush and basically apply this all over my lid. All right, that color applied nicely as well. Again, I don't feel like it's overly pigmented, but I don't feel like I had to layer it on and layer it on to see it. I think it's really, really nice. I like when shadows have like a middle of the road kind of level of pigmentation. I really don't like super, super highly pigmented shades. Those I just feel like are really hard to work with. You have to be so careful. But this goes on really nicely. Okay, let's see what other color I can put on here. The only shade I feel like I'm never, well, maybe 2 shades I feel like I'm never gonna use is this light blue shade and this white. I just really, I mean, the white I'll use maybe to lighten up another shade, but I don't think I'll ever use it on its own. It's just not a shade I would use on its own. And this light blue shade looks terrible on me, like that Smurf blue, terrible. So I'm gonna stay away from that. I used a matte, I used a satin, and I want to try one of these metallic shades. I really want to try this one. So I think what I'll do is maybe layer that on top towards my inner corner here. And I'm going to use my Sonia G Soft Shader brush and go into this shade, the peachy metallic shade. Definitely getting a little bit of fallout with this shade. And that duochrome is really showing up pretty strongly on my lid. I feel like I see more of the shifty color, which is like a pink, versus the peachy base. When I put my brush in here, I have a lot of like excess powder on top. So it's really kind of soft and chunky, this one. So I'm gonna press this time instead of swipe. I'm gonna press the shadow in. That usually works better with these chunkier kind of shadows. Yeah, I don't feel any fallout on my face. This has even softer pigmentation. It really is behaving more like a topper than it is a shadow all by itself. But it's really pretty. I like the effect that it has. I'm gonna go back to that 502 brush from BK Beauty, and I'm gonna go into this shade, this like wine colored satin shade. And I'm gonna use this to deepen up my outer corner here. I really like how the mattes and the satins are working. They're blending out really nicely, really nice like soft edges. I want to try one more of these metallic shades just to see if it's that shade or if it's the formula. I'm gonna go into this silvery one and kind of stick that in my inner corner. Maybe that'll be enough to tell. I'm gonna try the Sonia G Pencil 1 brush. I'm gonna go into that silver shade. Oh no, that has a lot of opacity compared to the other one. All right, so I think maybe it's just this shade that is a little bit more of like a topper. That silver shade is really intense. I feel like I need to blend that out a little bit. Now I've got my Sonia G Smudger 1 brush. I'm gonna go into the matte black shade and use it as a liner. So I'm just picking up the product on the tips of this brush and dragging that along my lash line. It's not the blackest black I've used, but it is very effective. All right, there is the Gucci palette applied, not all the shades, but some of them. I really like all of the shades. I think this duochrome shade, this chunky one, is the most different from what I expected, but everything else pretty much performed the way I expected. The matte shadows, these two satin shades down here, really pretty. I love the way they blend out. I mean, so soft, it was so easy. And that silver metallic shade, I can't get over actually how bright and opaque that is. It's very intense, really pretty. I can imagine this as a one and done shadow with like a black liquid eyeliner and like bright red lips for like holiday. That would be pretty. Moving on, I do have a new mascara. Revitalash sent this to me. This is their double-ended volume set. Volumizing primer and volumizing mascara. Wow, this is a really heavy case. Feels like, is this metal? No? It's like very heavy plastic. So we have the mascara on this side and the primer on this side. All right, so let me start with the primer. Oh my God, it's blue. What? That is the primer. Okay. Oh, let me, I got so excited. I forgot to curl my lashes. Hang on, let me curl my lashes. I'll be right back. Okay, now let's try this volumizing primer. Ooh, I really did not expect something like cobalt blue. I don't think you can see that it's blue. I can up close. That's really, oh, maybe right down there. You can see it. Whatever. That is the volumizing primer. And then let's go in with the volumizing mascara. And so the primer had like a plastic bristle brush. This has more of a natural style bristle brush, and it's black. It's not blue. All right. Oh, it's like a helix kind of style wand. So the bristles look like they're kind of like twisting around like DNA. All right. Well, I like what one coat does, as you guys know. I'm a pretty light mascara applier. I like this one coat because they do look more voluminous, but not too much. They look kind of fluffy versus like chunky, which I feel like a lot of volumizing mascaras do. But I like this kind of fluffy look. And now for lips. So I wanted to apply the Givenchy Le Rouge Sheer Velvet Lipsticks. Givenchy did send these to me. I have it in the shade number 10, Beige Nude. And these are such an interesting like matte but sheer kind of lipstick. And the first time I saw these with, I believe the first time I saw these is with NARS. I think over like the summertime, they came out with some like sheer matte lipsticks. And it was so interesting because matte for me always kind of, I don't know, is like synonymous with like a full coverage and like long lasting or whatever. So it was this different kind of combo of like finish and pigmentation. And now we have Givenchy doing it. So I'm gonna apply some of this. And I will say, I like the formula of the Givenchy better than the NARS. The NARS was a little drying. It didn't feel that drying, it goes on pretty smoothly, but after a while, like once it set down, it started to feel kind of drying. So there it is applied, and then what I really like to do, I feel like this formula really lends itself to that soft edge faded out like popsicle look. I mean, this is a nude color, so it's hard to see, but I just run my fingers along the edge of the lipstick, and it just softens up the edge, and it's so pretty. And you can see like my lips don't look like puckered up dry or anything. It has a really nice texture. It does have fragrance. It's pretty faint. I can smell it, but I can't taste it, which is really the deal breaker, is when I can taste it. Yeah, I can only smell it. All right, so that is the Le Rouge Sheer Velvet. What I wanted to do was pop back to the Ambient Lighting Edit Universe palette from Hourglass and try that finishing powder, the Infinity powder, because like I said, I'm pretty sure I had it and I didn't really like it that much, but I'm willing to give it another shot. So it's this large palette over here. So what I'm gonna do is grab my trusty Sonia G Face 1 brush. I feel like if I use this brush and I still don't like the product as a finishing powder, it's just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick some up with the brush. There we go. And I'm gonna tap it actually over this blush because I wouldn't mind toning it down a little bit. It really is very bright. And I'm gonna kind of pounce the powder on top first. And now I'm gonna go ahead and buff. I'm just gonna bring it down my cheek here. Definitely added a little bit of shine to my blush. I hope you guys can see that. So there's like a little bit more of a sheen to my blush on this side versus this side. It's okay. I just wish the powder was a little bit finer or a little bit lighter. I feel like I actually look like I have more makeup on this side of my face. It's really, really slight. It's something like when I'm just like inspecting myself up close that I can see. You guys probably can't tell the difference, but there's just something about this powder. I feel like it just makes my makeup look a little heavier, and I don't like that. I think that's what it was the first time I tried it. I think it's the same situation. Let's try it on this side. Let's just see. I do like the way it buffed out my blush. My blush looks really like infused onto my skin. So definitely did a good job with that. I do feel like a lot of that is with this brush though. And I feel like on camera, I really like it, but when I'm really kind of checking myself out in the mirror, I do feel like my makeup looks a little heavier. So that's kind of a personal preference. I think probably most people wouldn't mind or wouldn't care, but I really don't like heavy looking makeup. And I feel like it's starting to look a little heavy there. Okay, sorry, enough of that finishing powder. Anyway, that's all the stuff that I wanted to try for you today. I'm sorry that like I had to throw 3 face palettes in here, but I felt like if I didn't, I just don't know when I would eventually get to them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed everything I tried. The only like not so sure about thing is that one shadow from Gucci, but the rest of the shadows I think performed really beautifully. Yeah, and this Trini London BFF Rebalance Tinted Serum, I am impressed. I am really impressed. It's really, really beautiful. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Everything that I used on my face will be listed down below in the description box. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe down below if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.